If you're thinking about moving to Portland, Oregon, you've probably already heard some things. Maybe you've heard it's rainy and gray. Maybe you've heard about the homelessness problem that we have here in downtown. Maybe you've heard it's one of the most livable cities in the entire country. The thing is, all of those things are true. And in this video, I'm going to give you the full, honest picture. 6 real pros, 6 real cons. Alternating back and forth, no sugarcoating, no scare tactics, just the truth about what it's actually like to live here in 2026. And I guarantee you, at least one of these cons is something most people moving here completely underestimate until it's already too late. So make sure you watch all the way through. Let's go ahead and start with number 1, the con. Let's get the elephant out of the room first, because I know it's the first thing a lot of you already Googled when you started researching Portland, Oregon. And that's the state of downtown. Downtown Portland, we've experienced significant challenges post-2020, retail closures, visible homelessness, property crime, in a period where certain blocks felt genuinely unsafe. That was real, and I'm not going to pretend it wasn't. National media covered it extensively, and some of that coverage was pretty accurate. And here is the honest 2026 truth and update. The city has been in active recovery mode. New businesses have opened, encampments have been addressed through the new city policies. Foot traffic is slowly recovering, but it's recovering. It's not the same situation it was back in 21 and 2022, but it's also not fully back to what it was pre-2020. There are things that still feel like blocks are rough. If you're coming from a clean, quiet suburb, walking certain parts of downtown is going to be a different experience than what you're typically used to. Here's what I want you to understand though. The vast majority of Portland's residential neighborhoods are completely removed from these downtown issues that we're seeing. People raise families here. People walk to coffee shops and parks every single day without any issues at all. But you need to understand the geography of Portland, Oregon, and the entire metro area. You need to know which areas are which, and that knowledge makes all the difference. And this is exactly where the gap is. People research Portland online, they see the headlines, and they either write off the whole city or they move here without doing enough homework on specific neighborhoods. Both are mistakes, and this connects directly to what I'm going to show you next. Because here's the flip side. The downtown conversation, and this is the part most people miss, Portland is not one of those neighborhoods. It is a collection of deeply individual, deeply livable communities. And once you understand that, the whole city makes sense. You've got the Pearl District, upscale, walkable, gallery-lined streets, converted lofts, incredible restaurant, and a very connected downtown but completely different in feel. And then you got the Alberta Arts District on the northeast side of town, colorful murals on every block, independent bookstores, a small town energy inside a major city vibe. Hawthorne Street, Division Street, Mississippi Avenue Street. And then you got St. John's, you got Lake Oswego, Beaverton. Every single one of these feels distinct, and they each have their own restaurants, their own community events, their own personality. And the homes themselves reflect that. Portland is not a cookie cutter city, by all means. You'll see a 1910 Craftsman next to a 1928 Tudor style, next to a mid-century modern home. The architecture, the variety here is exceptional, and it makes the neighborhoods feel real and lived in a way that newer cities just can't replicate. So when you're relocating to Portland, Oregon, you're not just choosing square footage and a price range, you're choosing lifestyle, a daily experience, a community. And this is exactly where locals' expertise matters more than any Zillow filter. My team knows these neighborhoods street by street, what's changing, what's stable, what matches your lifestyle. We share that knowledge with the people who work with us. Give us a call and we'll match you to the right place before you waste time looking in the wrong areas. Okay, let's talk about the weather. I want to be completely honest with you here because this is one of those things that I've seen blindside a lot of out-of-state buyers more than almost anything else here. From roughly October through April, that's 7 months, 7 months, guys. Portland is predominantly overcast and gray. Not storming, not freezing, not dramatic, just gray, cloudy, drizzly, a little bit of low light, and of course, day after day, week after week. And this genuinely affects people in ways that they don't anticipate. Seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, is documented and a pretty widespread here in the entire Portland metro and the entire Portland Pacific Northwest, to be honest. I'm not being dramatic. Plenty of Portland residents use light therapy lamps, vitamin D supplements as part of their regular routine, including myself. Just to manage the low light months, I moved here from Texas. That's a sunny state. So understanding and using actual supplements and precautions made me actually enjoy what Portland, Oregon has to offer. It is a real thing. You are a person who genuinely needs sunshine to feel your best. I know I do. If you're coming from Southern California, Arizona, or Texas, you've never experienced extended gray seasons. Portland winters take real adjustments. Some people adapt, overcome to love the coziness of it. Others never fully do. And I'd rather you know that this is going to be a surprise 6 months after, and I'd rather you know that going than being surprised 6 months after you've already moved here. And this is exactly why timing matters so much when you're researching a city, especially a city like Portland, Oregon. I always tell buyers, if you can visit Portland in February before you commit, when it's the true mist of winter, not July, February. Experience the gray seasons with your own eyes. Get the feel of it, because what I'm about to tell you next, it makes the winters feel like a very fair trade-off. Because here's what you're getting in exchange for those gray winters. And if you're an outdoor person at all, this is gonna hit different. From your front door in Portland, Oregon, in 1 hour, you can be standing at the base of Mount Hood to the east, an over 11,000 foot volcano with world-class skiing at the Timberline Lodge, the only ski resort in North America with year-round skiing, year-round. In 90 minutes, you can also be walking barefoot on the Oregon coast, one of the most dramatic, breathtaking, and publicly accessible coastlines in the world. Oregon law requires the entire coast to be open to the public. All of it. In 30 minutes, you can also be at the Columbia Ridge Gorge, a national scenic area with multiple falls and dozens of other waterfalls. Photographers fly in from all around the world just to shoot these falls. And you don't even have to leave the city. You also have Forest Park, the northwest corridor of Portland Metro inside of the Portland city limits. Over 5,000 acres, more than 80 miles of trails. It's actually one of the largest urban forests in the entire United States. People hike it before work on a Tuesday morning. I'll say that again. People hike it on a Tuesday morning before work. So yes, 7 months of gray skies, but year-round skiing Pacific Coast 90 minutes away in a national forest inside your city. For a lot of people, this is an extraordinary fair trade. I know it is for me. And this is the part most people miss. The outdoor access just like this doesn't improve your quality of life. It affects long-term home values. Properties near Forest Park, near the gorge, near the river, they hold value differently. If you're thinking long-term, this part is important. Quick pause. If you're finding this helpful and you're serious about relocating to Portland, Oregon, I need you to do 2 things right now. First, hit that subscribe button. I post new videos every single week covering Portland neighborhoods, the real estate market, the cost of living, where to live, what to watch out for, everything you need to get smart about this city before you make a move. And second, if you're ready to actually start planning this, reach out to my team directly. We specialize in helping out-of-state buyers navigate the Portland metro market. We'll hop on a call, talk through your budget, your timeline, answer questions, your must-haves, build you a real solid game plan. No obligations, no pressure. My contact information is in the description below. All right, well, we're halfway through. 3 more cons, 3 more pros, and the last pairing, that's the one that ties everything together. Let's go. Let's talk about money, specifically Oregon's tax structure, because there's a very important trade-off here that people either don't know about or seriously underestimate. Oregon has one of those highest state income taxes in the entire country. It tops out at 9.9% for higher earners. There's no sales tax, and we'll get to why that still works in your favor in just a moment, but the income tax is real and it's significant. To put in a real terms, if you're earning about $150,000 a year and you're coming from Washington State, which has 0 income tax, or from Texas like myself or Florida, your take-home pay is going to be noticeably lower in Oregon. That's not a small thing. That is a real monthly difference in what lands in your bank account at the end of the month, and it compounds with the cost of living. Your grocery bill is higher than the national average. Your utilities have risen. You're paying income tax at a higher rate. It all adds up in ways that catch people like myself and you, it'll catch off guard. And if you haven't done the math, I'm gonna show you exactly why this isn't a deal breaker for most people that relocate here. But you need to go in with your eyes open, run actual numbers. Don't just look at home prices in isolation. And this is where most people get it wrong. They see no sales tax and they stop doing the math. They move here and then by April time, they're so surprised. This one detail makes all the difference, and it's what's coming that flips the whole conversation. Okay, I just told you about the income tax. Now let me tell you about the other side of the equation. And this one surprises almost everyone who moves here from out of state. Oregon has zero sales tax. I'll say it again. Oregon has zero sales tax. It's phenomenal. None. Zip. Nada. Oregon is one of the only 5 states in the entire US with no sales tax whatsoever. So what you see on the price tag is exactly what you pay. And here's where the real value adds up over time. If you're buying a $45,000 car and you're coming from California, you're paying roughly $4,000 more in sales tax on that single purchase alone. In Oregon, it's zip, nothing. That money stays in your pocket. Over a full year, groceries, clothing, home goods, electronics, furnitures for your new house, families consistently save thousands of dollars annually just from the absence of sales tax. Every month, that money stays with you. So when you stack no sales tax against the income tax, it doesn't necessarily cancel out perfectly, and the math differs for everyone, but for most households, the net picture is far more favorable than the income tax headline. Here's what this means for someone like you, especially if you're bringing a higher market salary from California or Seattle into Portland's relatively lower cost of living environment in comparison to those two areas. That income arbitrage combined with no sales tax and more home per dollar, that is a genuinely powerful financial move, and this connects directly to the next thing I want to show you. It's the Portland traffic. Traffic has gotten noticeably worse over the last decade, especially coming out of the COVID pandemic that we saw 5 years ago. As the metro area has grown, and depending on where you live relative to where you work, this can be a real daily frustration. The two main choke points are, of course, I-5 and 205 corridors, specifically crossing the Columbia River up north between Portland and Vancouver, Washington, and then that bridge, I mean, Jesus, it's decades old, limited in capacity, and during peak hours, it backs up significantly outside of the normal rush hour times in both directions going in and out of Portland. There's a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure project underway right now. It's the Interstate Bridge Replacement Program, but that is still years from completion. The Sunset Highway, US 26 on the west side, heading west towards Beaverton, Hillsborough, Bethany, Aloha. Another consistent pain point, especially for people commuting to Nike or Intel. During peak hours, that stretch can turn a 20-minute drive to a 50-minute disaster. Remember that. Portland does have solid public transit, such as the Max Light Rail, the streetcar system, and TriMet buses that serve the entire Portland area. And then the bike infrastructure is genuinely world-class, even if that's an option for you. But if your commute is car dependent, you have to be intentional about where you live. It doesn't make sense for you to live on the east side in Happy Valley, for example, and commute every single Monday through Friday to Beaverton because you work at Nike. And this is exactly that kind of thing that changes which neighborhoods and which suburbs make sense for you personally. My team knows which areas save you 30 to 45 minutes a day versus which ones bleed your time, your soul, your youth. And we only share that breakdown with the people who actually work with us. So definitely reach out, give us a call. Now you're working remotely, and if your job is coming with you, that last con essentially disappears. And even if you do need to commute to Portland's job market, is typically pretty strong enough that options here are worth it. Nike is headquartered right here in Beaverton. Intel has one of its largest campuses in Hillsborough, Oregon, right next to Beaverton. Adidas North America is headquartered here. And of course you have Columbia Sportswear. You've got a growing tech sector, one of the strongest healthcare systems in the Pacific Northwest, which is OHSU, Oregon Health Science University. You got Providence. You got Kaiser Permanente employing tens of thousands. Plus you have a creative niche here, creative scene, you have startup, you have green energy sector that has been slowly expanding steadily for years. But here's the most significant shift of the last few years. Portland has become a major destination for remote workers, and the city is perfectly built for it. Fast Wi-Fi in every coffee shop, every neighborhood, co-working spaces practically everywhere, especially downtown. A genuine work-life balance culture isn't just a talking point. I talk to people every week who are bringing their Bay Area or Seattle salary with them intact and buying significantly more home per dollar in Portland. That income arbitrage is one of the most powerful financial arguments for this relocation market. You're earning at a high market level and spending at a comparatively lower one. And this is why 2026 is such a big year. More remote work flexibility than ever, a stabilized Portland market with real inventory and rates trending down. This is where the opportunity really is. And that leads perfectly into the last pairing, and this is the one I really want you to pay attention to. Portland has long been marketed as an affordable alternative to Seattle and San Francisco, and relative to those cities, it still is. But I want you to be straight with you. I want to be straight with you. Portland is not cheap. And if you're relocating from a lower cost region, such as Texas, Florida, maybe one of those southern states, you need to come in with realistic expectations. Grocery costs in Portland run 10 to 15% above the national average. Utilities, electricity, natural gas have risen significantly over the last few years. Childcare costs are among the highest in the Oregon market. And while home prices have moderated from the peak 2020 housing, they are still well above where they were a decade ago. On the rental side, a one-bedroom apartment in a nice Portland neighborhood, like the Pearl District, for example, Northwest Portland or even Hawthorne area, is still going to run you $1,600 upwards to $2,200 per month. Now, this is not the Bay Area money, but it's also not affordable by national standards. Stacking income tax on top of the elevated day-to-day costs, this is why I keep saying run your actual numbers before you move. Don't look at home prices in isolation. Look at it in the full monthly picture. And here's what I mean. It's for someone like you, the cost of living picture is the exact reason that where you buy and how you structure your purchase matters so much. This is what my team helps people figure out before they even actually commit. And what I'm about to show you next, it's the real reason the math still works really well, and it's the reason why I remain here in the Portland metro area, let alone the Pacific Northwest. Okay, this is the one I really want you to lock in on, because everything we've talked about, the cost of living, the income tax, the market, the dynamics of it all, they come together in this one point. And what it adds up to is one of the best windows to buy Portland real estate in nearly 5 years. Here's the context. Portland prices have peaked during 2021, during that crazy frenzy that I personally saw and clients in the past have saw. That frenzy is over. Like every market, what that correction created is a buyer's environment with actual real leverage. And as early as 2026 this year, as I record this video, Portland's median home price is sitting around, $560 upwards to $600K. Compare that to Seattle at $700,000 plus. And then you compare that to the Bay Area, well over $1 million. You are getting significantly more home, more character, more charm, more land, more neighborhood for a fraction of those nearby markets that I mentioned. Inventory is elevated. I was looking at the data this morning. We're at over 4 months of inventory, over 5,500 active listings in the entire metro area. Right now, that means real estate choices, real time to think, real negotiating power. Bidding wars are not the norm, and they no longer are the norm. You can finally ask for repairs. You can take a breath. You can make deliberate decisions, informed ones. Mortgage rates are tracking around 6%, sometimes even below 6%. Meaningfully bit better than what we saw 2 years ago. Affordability is genuinely improving, and here's the window part. Once rates drop further, demand floods back in fast. Inventory tightens. Multiple offers may return. The buyers who move while others are still waiting, they're the ones who look back and, they're grateful for what they did. This is the signal most buyers ignore. This window doesn't stay open forever. And this is exactly why timing matters just as much as relocation, as much as you can. Once you see this clearly, it's hard to unsee. Now, the last con, and this one is harder to quantify than the others, but I think it's one of the most important things I can tell you about Portland, Oregon right now. Portland is in a period of significant changes. And with that change comes uncertainty. The city that people fell in love with, what I fell in love with many years ago, the quirky, the creative, the keep Portland weird vibe, the counterculture identity has evolved. Rapid growth brought density. Density brought development. Development brought more polished, more expensive, more gentrified versions of the city. Longtime residents have deeply mixed feelings about this, especially people who actually grew up in Portland, Oregon. Politically, Portland has leaned progressively for decades, and the city government has made decisions around housing, policing, and businesses, regulations that have generated sustained public frustration. There was actually a significant government restructuring in 2025, and Portland moved to a new city council structure that reflects just how much pressure had been building for change. The bottom line, Portland is still figuring itself out. It is a city mid-transformation. And if you're someone who sees potential in that, who wants to be part of a city that's finding its next chapter, it's truly exciting. I know I'm excited about it because I truly believe Portland is for sure on the up and up. And if you need a city that has everything fully resolved and settled, Portland in 2026 may feel unsettled to you. Maybe it's not the right city for you. And this is where things start to get really interesting for buyers, because cities in transition, cities with strong fundamentals going through a reset, are historically where long-term real estate value is built. This is what quietly changes everything. And here's the thing about the city in transition, the culture, the food scene, the community that makes Portland worth fighting for. It's still here. It's everywhere. It hasn't left. It's still world class. Portland has over 500 food cart vendors, trained chefs running their own operations. You got Korean barbecue next to Guatemalan food, next to wood fire pizza, next to Chinese food, all within the same parking lot. They're called pods, and they're all over the city. One of my favorite is in Happy Valley. Portland is widely considered the craft beer capital of the world. You have 70 plus breweries inside the city limits. Third wave coffee culture was essentially born here. You got Stumptown, you got Kova, you got Hart. These names mean something globally in the entire coffee world, in the scene in general. The Portland Art Museum is one of the oldest on the West Coast. The Oregon Symphony is an exceptional talent of a remarkable environment. Then the first Thursday art walk in the Pearl District fills the streets every month. Portland's Saturday markets, the largest continuously operating outdoor arts and craft market in the country, runs from spring all the way through the holidays. And the community, this is the one that's generally hard to describe until you're actually here, you're inside of it, you're actually living in it. Portland's neighborhoods have a close, real quality. People know neighbors. There are active neighborhoods associations, block parties, farmers markets, community events woven into everyday life. You got the Rose Festival in June. You got Sunday markets. You got summer concerts. It feels like a community that actually chooses to be together. And this is where people usually stop and say, okay, now I get it. This is why people who move here to Portland, Oregon stay in Portland, Oregon. And that sustainability is part of what makes real estate market worth definitely betting on long term. And that's it. The real Portland, Oregon, 6 cons, 6 pros, back and forth, no filter, downtown challenges met with incredible neighborhoods, gray winters met with unmatched outdoor access, income tax met with zero tax sales, traffic met with job market and remote work, culture that makes it worthwhile. Rising cost of living met with a real estate opportunity that genuinely exists right now. And a city that is transitioning met with food and culture and a community scene that is still absolutely worth it. Portland is not for everyone, but for the right person, it is one of the best cities in the United States to call home. I've called it home. And if you're watching this, there's a good chance you might be that person. Reach out to my team. Call us, text us, email us. It's in the description below. We'll hop on a call. We'll understand your situation, build a real game plan, because that is what we do. Hit subscribe for those new Portland videos every week, and watch this next one right here, where I break down what you need to know for all out-of-state buyers, price ranges, schools, lifestyle, all of it. You're gonna wanna see it. I'll see you there.